Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. Are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the dceu Daily. If you're feeling charitable, please smash the subscribe button. If you want to like this, please smash the like button as well. Keep away from the dislikes, but you probably won't know I've said that. So, welcome. Yes, the other channels may be resting on their laurels, but here on Big Mouth, we have got the big DCEU updates. I have got here a 15-minute video from Grace Randolph talking about Wonder Woman 84 and the Snyder Cut, both potentially on HBO Max. Now, either she's got nothing else to talk about and she thought, let's do some clickbait here, or she's onto something. I will put this on for us, and then I will actually interrupt it. I will be the police. I will be policing this video, and I will be telling you what's balls and what's thumbs up and what's thumbs down. You know what I think about Grace, but she does know some stuff, and she is interesting to listen to. So we're going to listen to that video, and then we're going to be talking about Aquaman 2 and the Trench movie, and where the Trench movie actually stands within the timeline of the DCEU and the first Aquaman movie. So loads to talk about. So let's listen to what Grace Randolph has to say.
About it. The Wrap ran an article saying that Warner Brothers the Warner Brothers suits, that's a very important distinction, that they are considering debuting Wonder Woman 1984 on streaming, despite very strong protest by the film's producers. So you have the suits at Warner Brothers who have to think of what's best for the studio versus the film's producers who want to think about what's best for their individual film and their individual careers. That's part of the problem I think that Warner Brothers has a little bit with all their brands, but, in this case, DC, and that, nobody's committed to DC long term. They have producers come in, they make a movie, then they go back to the rest of their career. Whereas Kevin Feige, is Mr. Marvel, and, and that's very much a part of Disney. So he has...
She's totally ignoring the fact that Walter Hamada runs DC Films and the DCEU. So there is someone focused. But basically, already we can tell she's going through the bullshit that the Wrap have released. And I exposed that in another video, but we're going to go along. And of course, her favourite pet subject is Feige. This is how she tries to basically expose everyone else making films by saying, Feige. But Feige said. So anyway, it's going to be painful for us, but let's listen to this.
More invested in terms of the studio as a whole there, whereas that's not the case with the Warner Brothers franchise properties, because they have individual producers who, that's not their whole business. All right, so anyway, before the Wrap story, and I do feel the Wrap story is correct. Not always true from the Wrap, but I feel in this case it's true. So anyway.
So she's already putting her flag on the mast that the Wrap article is true. But the real truth about this Wrap article is, in fact, that they don't really say anything and they have no evidence about anything. They even have everyone at Warner Brothers say, no, we want to release it in theatres. And if they can't release it in June, they will absolutely release this film at the end of the year. And if they still can't, then, of course, streaming will become a bigger reality. But let's listen to what Grace has to say so I can expose her.
Before the story could take hold, Warner Brothers flatly denied it via IndieWire. Very odd source of a denial, but that's who they chose, which I also think is a bit of a All right, so anyway, I think...
Hang on, right? IndieWire is a bad source to go to, even though they had the exclusive. Let me tell you why they went to IndieWire, because IndieWire are reliable. They are a reliable source of news. Warner Brothers respect them, and they went to them. Why didn't they go to the Wrap with this exclusive that this is going to happen? Because the Wrap can't be trusted. Humberto Gonzalez can't be trusted. This is the man who said there was no Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut was never going to happen. Sit back down, Humberto. So all of a sudden, Grace is taking a narrative and a side here. It's very interesting.
If you take a step back and you factor in everything everything that's happening right now, plus what I have heard from my sources about the Snyder Cut, I think that while it's still unlikely that Wonder Woman 1984 will debut on streaming, I mean, the theater owners alone would be furious. Although I think there's a reason to take on that fury, as you're about to see. I don't think it's impossible. I think it could happen. Now, some of you might be typing, Grace, Warner Brothers flatly denied it. That's the end of the conversation. Well, as I said at the beginning of this video, everyone's doing what they need to do. And I think Warner Brothers needs to protect one.
Right, listen, right? There is not a situation where one producer is saying we do this and another producer's saying we're going to do that. And producers don't come and go. You know, like she said, oh, they produce one film, then they go away. A director doesn't, and he goes away. Yes, when James Wan directed Aquaman, he went away to do other projects. He will come back to do Aquaman 2. He's producing the Trench movie, right? He's part of a proper franchise. But it's like James Gunn. He was producing other projects in between Guardians, right before they sacked him originally, right? So what she's talking about is absolute nonsense. But we're going to carry on here. Don't forget, Grace has got nothing to talk about. It's like seeing the tumbleweed. It's great. Not only are these rich studios suffering because of the corona, and I love it. Sorry for the little employees, by the way. But these massive YouTubers are taking a massive hit because they've got nothing to talk about. But that, my friends, is at when they are at their most dangerous, when they will say anything to get a few clicks.
Woman 1984, and they do not want anyone to start looking at it as a streaming movie for two reasons. The first is that it would, I think, downgrade the film in the eyes of many. And then when it did hit theaters, if it does hit theaters, and again, I still think that's more than likely what's going to happen. I don't know though. Wait till you hear this argument. You know, they don't want people to feel that Wonder Woman 1984 is now a streaming film. Then the other thing is... No,
that's not the point, Grace. Let me explain something to you, Grace, and all of you watching, right? If there is a deadly contagion out there and people can't go to the cinema, and this lasts for a year or two, they're going to have to put it on streaming. Can you imagine me doing a video saying, oh, it's a streaming movie now? Well, I'm not watching that anymore. Of course not. Basically, if they say to me, Mick, you can rent this movie for the same price as a big box office boxing match, right? $50, 50 quid, euros, or whatever your currency is, right? I'm going to say, take my money now. This is what the biggest film of the year. This is the next chapter of the DCEU. Why wouldn't I do it if I can afford it? And I understand that some don't. And maybe with this channel, I can, if it does go to streaming and it is expensive, maybe I can help some of you see the movie, whether it's on Prime, or we can do something. Hopefully, you know, so definitely want to help out my subscribers and my fellow DC fans, but we'll see what happens. But at the moment, all I can say from this video is it's absolute nonsense, but we will carry on.
Is they don't want another Snyder Cut situation. Again, the Snyder Cut is very much a part of this conversation, but they don't want fans to feel that they've taken something away from them, right? Like right now, I feel fans are disappointed that we're not getting Bond, Mulan, Black Widow when we were.
Yes, people are disappointed, but we have a global crisis, Grace. That isn't the studio's fault. It's the governments of the world's fault because they knew about this virus, this contagion. They were doing something. They were experimenting. They did something, and now we're all in danger. We're all locked down in our houses because of these idiots at the government. I don't know what they were trying to do to China, and that clearly is one of my conspiracy theories. But isn't it funny if they did try and do something to China? China are opening up their cities in their territories now, while the rest of the world are like, ah. So, goes to show you can't mess with China. They built a blooming hospital in a week. Anyway, back to DC.
Supposed to, Fast 9, but I think everyone understands right now. But I think if, it really took hold, this idea that Wonder Woman 1984 would finally come out, we've waited for it so long already, around the time that it was supposed to on streaming, and then it didn't, I think fans and audiences would feel that Warner Brothers had taken something away from them. So Warner Brothers obviously wants to avoid that scenario, especially when people are so desperate for new content. Although I think people have been miffed even under regular circumstances, but particularly under the ones that we're in now. But anyway, I'm going to explain to you now why Warner Brothers might release Wonder Woman 1984 on streaming. And once you hear the reasoning, I think you'll agree. It's not only not such a crazy idea, but it's actually, I think, a very good idea. I think I think the Wonder Woman 1984 producers are thinking too much about themselves. But I think this would help them. It's interesting.
No. Nobody's thinking about themselves. They're business people, right? They have to be successful to keep their jobs, right? Whoever you are, right? Whether you're Patty Jenkins, whoever you are, right? She's the director and she's probably stroke producer as well of this movie. It's not about that. Of course, they want to make as a company, Warner Brothers want to take their $1.5 billion from this movie. Of course they do. But I've explained before how they can do that through streaming by having this as a premiere event, right? Box office money, right? Boxing matches, box office money, right? They can still make a lot of money from this if they play this right. Because they know their audience want this in theatres. They want to release this in theatres. They want their consumer to have the experience of experiencing this film in IMAX, in whatever, right? They want that. But it is nobody's fault that this is happening. I've explained to you what's going to happen. She's just talking total BS, right? They will delay it till December if they can't release it in June. It's not likely, but you never know. Trump might get his act together. I doubt it. But ultimately, it'll be delayed till November, December. And if they still can't do that, then it will go onto streaming. And I've already explained how they can make a lot of money and not lose anything.
All right, I'm curious to hear your thoughts down below. All right, now for many reasons, it's very easy to say that Wonder Woman 1984 is Warner Brothers' Black Widow, right? But the reality is that the movies are not the same, nor are the studios. That's a very important part of this. Don't just think of the movies in a vacuum. They are part of a bigger picture, both of them. All right, so while Black Widow as a Marvel movie, the first after a long MCU drought post-Endgame, is in play to join the $1 billion club, just as the same way that Captain Marvel did, itself very well positioned. I think it's unlikely. And by the way, I don't even think Black Widow is guaranteed, although you'd never underestimate Marvel these days. But it seems Black Widow does seem like a little bit of a smaller movie, although they've hidden so much of it. We've actually seen very little of the film. But I think that's in play to make $1 billion. But I think it's unlikely, to be honest with you. And I'm a huge Wonder Woman DC fan, as you know. But I gotta I gotta do what I gotta do too. And I don't think Wonder Woman 1984 is gonna make $1 billion. I think Gal Gadot's
No. You are talking nonsense, and you know you are. But she's about to say something about Gal, so I'll be pausing this again.
Politics are unfortunately a problem for the Wonder Woman movies. I think that's why the first one didn't get to $1 billion. I mean, as I said, it's an unfortunate truth, but we're trying to be realistic here. I think the film seems.
Gal Gadot's politics. Shall I tell you why she doesn't like Gal Gadot's politics? Right? Let me tell you my theory. Gal is from Israel. She's Jewish. Randolph, I think, is also Jewish. But there are two different sides of the coin. There are members of the Jewish community, and I don't really want to go here, but because she's just said something, right? She said something extremely controversial about one of the best people in Hollywood, and someone has to come to her defense. It's ridiculous. So, Gal's from Israel. She served in the Israeli army, right? This woman is, this is a well-traveled woman. Anyway, she doesn't believe that she doesn't agree with Israel's infractions of Palestine and what's going on in Palestine and what they're doing to the Palestinian people. But there's other sides of the Jewish community, and I'm going to say this, and I don't know what's going to happen to this video, but there's other sides, which I'm assuming is where Randolph is coming from, where they believe, Israel should be going into Palestine and, making those people's lives a living hell, right? So there's two sides of the same coin. That's what she means about politics. And there's another edge to it as well. Gal Gadot always says Wonder Woman is for everyone, right? But then there's these alt leftists. It's for women. It's for women. It's for young girls. Go away, boys and men. This is not your movie. So she's talking about both those things, right? But yes, I would think the first thing that I said is more comparable. And this is what's going on here. She has an agenda because this woman always has an agenda. She said terrible things about Henry Cavill. She said horrible things about a lot of people within the DC community, and she's doing it again. Don't let her mess with your mind. There is nothing wrong with Gal's politics. They're quite right. They're moral. beautiful. She's a great person, and she's trying to help. And actually, Gal served in Israel, right? She knows more about these things than you. This is absolutely disgusting.
A little small. Even though it looks fantastic, I think it seems a little small. Whereas Aquaman built a whole world, right? And people love those summer movies at the holiday season when it's cold outside. Aquaman itself is...
Hang on. Wonder Woman 84 is a small movie. You've literally just constructed this to trigger us, haven't you? You really have.
Very well positioned. And also, Wonder Woman 1984 not only has just one, but now two delays. Very long delays. We've been waiting for this movie for a very long time. Now, I'm not saying Wonder Woman 1984 will not do well. I think it'll do very well. But I think it will make $1 billion. I think it'll be at the level of the first film, a Deadpool movie, stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm trying to establish to you that Warner Brothers is not... There's not $1 billion at stake for them with this decision. Then, here's the crucial difference. Disney Plus has already launched, right? Quite successfully. In quarter four, the fourth quarter financially of 2019, it was the most downloaded app in the United States. And as of February...
It's the most downloaded app in the United States because it's the newest of apps. It's an anticipated app, and no one had it before it launched. That's why it's the most downloaded apps. But we know her agenda again. It's Disney. Disney are the best. Disney are the best. Everyone are way behind, right? Sorry, sweetheart. It's not actually working out that well for Disney because if you go away from the figures, they don't talk about the unsubscriptions. The fact that they're actually taking away bandwidth now with this tragedy going on, right? So you won't even be able to watch Star Wars in 4K properly, right? And it has a lot of gremlins in the system, yeah. Not the movies, the gremlins, but it has a lot of gremlins. It goes offline a lot. It's not too good. It's not as strong and as reliable as Netflix. And there's your truth.
It's still pretty much only available in a limited part of the world. It's already at 30 million subscribers. For comparison, Netflix has 167 million subscribers worldwide. Now, sure, Disney's number does include Verizon customers who are currently getting the service for free. I guarantee you, though, that when it's time to renew, there will be an automatic renewal. They'll get quite a bit of...
Wow! She knows who's going to renew and who's not going to renew. She knows everything. Right, let me just teach you, Grace, how to do a video, right? Stop talking about fake. Stop talking about Disney. You've done a whole video so far about this. No, it's meant to be about the DCEU, Wonder Woman, the Snyder Cut. And I know where she's going with this, but it's all this false praise, this BS praise for Disney and Marvel and fake. And it's just boring. No DC fan wants to listen to this. Look at how I'm blowing my top. Can you blame me? It's a distraction. It's a distraction from the corona, right?
Money right there along. But also, Disney Plus is just about to launch in Europe, and under the circumstances, it should be quite popular. So Disney Plus,
right? Listen to this, right? I live in Cyprus, right? They've released the app. You now have Disney Plus in the UK, in Ireland, and in France, and I think one more country, right? That's it. That's it. So I woke up this morning because I was going to watch Disney Plus. I do like Disney stuff. I'm just fed up of the bootlicking of them. So I was going to download it, but it's not available in your territory. Yeah. And you know what? Before we carry on, I am sick to death of these studios and these companies doing this. You release a streaming service, release it globally. And you know why they don't? Because they won't pay the global worldwide fees to distribute stuff all around the world. So they want to wait till they can get good deals for themselves. It's like when I think they released The Rise of Skywalker on streaming now, but I can't get it on Prime Video here in Cyprus. You're going to release something, release it globally, especially when everyone's stuck at home right now, right?
Up and running a few months before the pandemic is actually in a very good position timing-wise. HBO Max? Not so much. Warner Brothers streaming...
Here we go. Disney is in a great position, but HBO Max, before it's even launched, isn't in a good position, right? We know where she's heading with this, that they need to put the Snyder Cut and Wonder Woman 84 on the streaming service because they're desperate, right? And, hey, You know me, you don't have to convince the compromised at the end of the day. I want the Snyder Cut on streaming, and I wouldn't have any issue with Wonder Woman 84 being on streaming, but it's the way she goes about it.
Service is set to launch in the middle of the pandemic, at least in the United States. It's not supposed to hit most of the world until 2020.
Ooh, guess what? A streaming service you can watch at home is going to launch during the pandemic when everybody's at home. Guess what that means? Yes, but she is twisting the narrative, as she always does.
So you might be thinking, well, how could Wonder Woman 1984 be a part of that streaming service? Well, maybe it would be available for purchase in other parts of the world. But you'll see, it's going to be driving a lot of revenue in the United States alone. And of course, the United States and China. China's theaters, by the way, are opening, so it could play in theaters in China. Those are the two biggest movie markets. So, again, Warner Brothers got to do what Warner Brothers got to do. All right, so not only is it launching in the middle of a pandemic in the United States, but at a $15 a month price point. Now, by May, and I'm sure Warner Brothers is considering this, because of massive layoffs, furloughs, etc., a lot of people will be having serious financial difficulties by that point, and will already be subscribed to several streaming services that have gotten the job done entertaining them already during this crisis. So they're going to be like, do I have the money for another streaming service? Do I need another streaming service right now? Furthermore, Amazon, for instance, just made its kids programming free. That means you don't have to be an Amazon Prime member to watch it. So HBO Max is going to come along and say, give me money, right? A lot of people could argue that the service...
Have you seen, I love Amazon Prime, I love Prime Video, but have you seen what kind of kids stuff Prime Video's got? It's crap. Basically, HBO Max has got Looney Tunes, it's got great animated stuff, right? It's got great kids stuff. It's quite a few levels above. The Prime stuff's free because it's crap.
Under the circumstances, again, should be free, right? And, again, that would be a disaster for Warner Brothers, both financially and public relations-wise. And on top of all that, because film and TV production has been halted, the Friends reunion, which was supposed to be a major impetus to get you to sign up for the service, in addition to having the Friends library, that has been delayed. It will not be available at launch. So HBO Max will probably have to launch with little to no new content because of the pandemic.
But guess what? When the pandemic's over, because basically HBO Max could even delay its launch and wait till everything's okay again, and then the Friends reunion would be ready on launch. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Basically, I keep on telling people, take each day as it comes, because it could be our last. This is the apocalypse, by the way. Fun, isn't it?
Now, as we've discussed before on Twitter, this is my first time discussing it in a video, HBO Max had hoped to make the Snyder Cut part of its launch, or at least part of its launch announcement. So maybe you wouldn't get the Snyder Cut at launch, but it would be coming very soon, and that would inspire people to sign up for the service. But I've heard, again from my sources, that Snyder wants to shoot several new scenes that require VFX work. And of course...
Your sources! What are your sources? Vero is common bloody knowledge. He had the poster competition, he had the clapperboard, basically spilling the beans that there's more scenes to be shot with Amy Adams, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. Your sources. How has this woman got followers? This woman, right, I could barely get 50 bloody viewers and I'm awesome. And this woman just spouts a load of BS. Amazing. Anyway, it's an amazing world. Maybe she's got a lot of friends with tablets and phones and they all subscribe. I don't know. Although, would you be her mate?
Now they can't do that. So HBO Max suddenly doesn't have that carrot either. Now, yes, a finished version of the Snyder Cut does exist. He's put out photos of it. A handful of people have seen it, and they've loved it. And I can understand that some of you might be like, well, again, under the circumstances, just give me what you got. But, I think that would be a mistake. From what I've heard of what he wants to add, it will mean the difference between diehard fans having the satisfaction of finally seeing it versus piquing the interest of even the casual fans and naysayers. It's that cool. He really has some cool ideas for what he wants to add to this. And since he's waited this long, I think he should hold off until he can do it the way he wants to. I mean, the Snyder Cut has taken on like mythological proportions at this point. It's a legend. And you can imagine the intense pressure to live up to that legend. And I think the additional stuff that he has planned will allow him to do that for sure. Trust me. So the Snyder Cut, I think, for the time being, is off the board. That means Warner Brothers is like, where do we have a shiny piece of finished new content that people are heavily interested in? Oh, look, Wonder Woman 1984. It's really smart when you think about it. Making it available at the launch of HBO Max would, all by itself, justify that $15 a month price tag. Because that's significantly cheaper than a movie ticket in most major cities. You'd be able to watch it multiple times for that one-time price. For the month. I think that would be huge, right? So why would Warner Brothers be willing to take the loss? I mean, that's multiple ticket sales that they're giving up. Well, I think they really want to make sure that people sign up for HBO Max, as Hollywood is certain that streaming services are the future of the business. And I believe they are. I think they're right on this, creating huge cash flows not seen since VHS and DVD sales went the way of the dodo. For those of you who don't know that, VHS and DVD sales were a huge influx of cash in the industry, and it made them flush with cash, which is why for the heyday of Hollywood, they were able to make so many movies, and they were able to try so much new stuff, because they just had so much money coming in from VHS and DVD sales. But you know, you might be like, well, I still buy digital movies. Well, you don't buy them as much because I think with VHS and DVD sales, there was this idea that, I myself, growing up, my family, would buy VHS and DVDs because we might want to watch them. But we really didn't. But we just we amassed these huge collections, just with the idea that someday I might want to watch it and I'll be able to. Having everything on demand digitally takes away that need. So I think people don't buy, even if they do, they don't buy.
But what if the internet goes down and you have no way of watching streaming? That's why I always buy stuff on Prime Video, but I also buy them on hard copy. Not because I may watch them. First of all, it's a collection. I love my superhero movies. I love my favourite stuff, and I still buy them. And a lot of people do this. Again, she's talking nonsense.
As much as they did. Now, you might, because you're a hardcore movie fan, but the casual person doesn't. Because they know whatever movie they want to watch will be available at the click of a button. So a lot of that money really went away. And that's why they've had to downgrade some of the chances they take in the movies they make in Hollywood, because they just don't have the same influx of cash.
No. You're justifying the reason why Hollywood and their movies are so watered down and bad. It's nothing to do with not selling Blu-rays. It's nothing to do with not selling hard copy. The point is they lost their bravery. It doesn't take much to say this year we're not doing this and we're going to do something experimental. We're going to just do an average Field of Dreams movie. No, this is just a bullshit justification. Amazing. Oh, wow, this woman.
Streaming services are that new influx of cash. In 2019, Netflix subscriptions equaled $20 billion in revenue. Now, sure, that's revenue, not profit, but Netflix spends a ridiculous amount of money to stay ahead of the game. But still, that's $20 billion coming in. Now, for comparison, Disney's worldwide box office the same year in 2019 was $13 billion, $7 billion below what Netflix pulled in just in subscriptions alone, right? And for movies, Disney of course has many other revenue streams. But anyway, and that, by the way, the $13 billion for Disney was a new record, including the Fox acquisition. So the money that those movies made, and so they were not even close to what Netflix pulled in all by itself, and they were setting a record. That's huge. And also Disney, by the way, the United States in 2019 had 40% of the box office. So think of how further behind all the other studios are, which is why they want a streaming service, which makes HBO Max even more valuable to Warner Brothers, because they didn't break the record. They didn't break a record worldwide at the box office. And again, that's still.
And this is the problem. This is the problem with these people. It's all about breaking records. Warner Brothers is still making money. He's not making as much as Disney. No, it has to catch up with that. But the point is, it's still making money. It's not all about breaking records. Warner Brothers have a quality control situation. Disney don't. Disney Plus only caters to a certain demographic. Netflix caters to multiple demographics. This is why I don't think streaming is the future. It's the future in terms of Netflix and even Prime, because they were there first. But I really don't think that people are going to stick to Disney, right? Because I can imagine going on there if I was able to watch it, right? And once you've gone through the titles, there's nothing new there. It's ridiculous. It's actually very thin on the ground. It's not a Netflix. It never will be a Netflix. And Randolph's obsession with Disney is so biased, it's flawed.
7 billion with a B behind what Netflix was able to pull in. So yeah, while the Wonder Woman 1984 team might not like it, the Warner Brothers suits might need to make Wonder Woman 1984 not just a streaming movie, but an HBO Max movie to ensure the entire studio's future. HBO Max cannot fail. It's too big to fail for the studio. But I'm not meaning it too big to fail and that it can't fail, because I mean it in that it's too big a deal to fail. It can't fail. So I think actually it will work. I think it's actually a really good idea. We've waited long enough for the movie at this point. We just want to see it, and I think it would make the HBO Max debut a big event. So what do you think? Share your thoughts down below. Subscribe.
Wow. I'm going to be honest with you. I never actually played that video to myself before I played it to you. And I actually imagined that we were going to get this spanning, informational kind of thing about the Snyder Cut and Wonder Woman 1984. And I do apologise. What we actually got was a load of bullshit. But I think you'll agree it's fun to expose people like Randolph and her agendas and her politics and the way... I mean, first of all, to turn around and say Gal's politics are going to hurt this film are ridiculous, because then you're saying that people don't agree with her politics. Why is she saying that? Because she doesn't agree with Gal's politics. Do you understand? This is another agenda piece, right? She's a huge YouTuber, Grace Randolph. They all know her in the industry. They're all a little bit scared of her. I don't know why. She must carry some kind of influence with the audience, because they're thick and dumb, right? But there you have it. This is what we're up against, right? Because as soon as she says that the article that said, the headline said that Wonder Woman 84 was going to streaming was happening, I knew, because that article was clickbait. And as I said before, we've discussed this, and I exposed them. All you have to do is click on the article, which is what they want you to do, and then you can see how empty and watered down it is. There's nothing in there. So just to finish off this section, it's a bit of a longer video today, but that's cool, right? And I hope you're enjoying it. Just to finish off, Wonder Woman 1984, if it can't be released in theatres in June, it will not go to streaming. It will not go to HBO Max. It will be delayed until November at the end of this year, because they want the fans to have that experience, and they believe it's a better thing all round. Now, as I said before, if they can't do that, if the epidemic is still going on and people can't leave their homes, then HBO Max are going to get it. Now, one final thing. She tried to insinuate with nothing top tier on HBO Max, brand new, that people wouldn't be interested. Basically, HBO Max is a massive, ambitious Warner Brothers streaming service, and I'm more excited about that than I am about Disney+. And again, I won't be able to have HBO Max for a couple of years. Again, hugely disappointed that this is how the industry works, but there's so much more to come on today's DCEU Daily. So there's a bit of an article here, an interesting article, by the way. Aquaman writer says Trench spin-off may be set between first and second movies, which I always imagine, but it's good to hear them be talking about this, especially with nothing going on right now in the industry. This is an article by Rachel Lambotte, and this was done yesterday, so let's give it a read. Aquaman writer David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick says the planned spin-off, The Trench, will likely take place between the first and second Aquaman films. Jason Momoa first appeared as Arthur Curry in 2017's Justice League, but it wasn't until 2018's Aquaman that he really got his chance to shine. Aquaman turned into be a much-needed hit for DC and Warner Brothers, grossing over $1 billion worldwide and garnering mostly positive reviews. Aquaman 2 is currently slated for release in December 22, with Momoa expected to return alongside Amber Heard, we'll see about that, Patrick Wilson, Orm, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen as Black Manta. Not long after Aquaman hit theatres, it was announced that Warner Brothers had put The Trench into development. A spin-off focused on one of the many underwater kingdoms in Aquaman, The Trench poses a dangerous obstacle to Arthur and Mera as they search for the trident of Atlan. Not much is known about The Trench, though, and it's described as a horror teen film, that's right, and will be written by Noah Gardner and Aidan Fitzgerald. During a Q&A on Twitter, Johnson McGoldrick was asked about The Trench and where it would fit into the DCEU timeline. It should be noted that while Johnson McGoldrick wrote the first Aquaman and is currently working on the second, he isn't attached to The Trench. However, he did have an answer to the question, replying, theoretically, it takes place between 1 and 2. Johnson McGoldrick then added that things are still being worked out on that front. So this is the question. Oh, I know how that is. I have ADR coupled with anxiety, so not having any kind of routine is kind of playing on it. If I'm allowed another question, is the Trench spin-off coming in between Aquaman 1 and 2? And he says, yeah, theoretically it takes place between 1 and 2, but some pieces of this is still being worked out. As the Trench still seems to be in a very early development, it might not arrive until after Aquaman 2 debuts in 2022. Jason McGoldrick is still hard at work on the script for Aquaman 2, meaning story could still be shifting. That likely could be why he mentioned some pieces of the timeline are still being worked out, because the events of Aquaman 2 could help decide when is the best time to set the Trench. And the spin-off doesn't look like it will include any major characters from the Aquaman films, though with things still developing, that could change. Fans were a bit upset to learn Aquaman 2 would be arriving so long after the first one. No, I wasn't. I'm just excited that they're taking their time with it and doing a good job. Though Johnson McGoldrick still found time to tease the highly anticipated sequel, he hinted that some of his inspiration for the second film comes from the Silver Age Black Manta storylines from the comics, which might stir up some ideas for comic book fans. With Aquaman 2 not shooting until mid-2021, just as well, by the way, there's still plenty of time for Johnson McGoldrick to nail down a story. As for The Trench, fans will have to sit tight for more information. Right, I can give you all the information you need. The Trench movie is in between Aquaman 1 and Aquaman 2. When he talks about shifting stuff, they're still working things out. But I think the whole point of the Trench movie is because there's a big space in the release dates between Aquaman 1 and Aquaman 2. So all of a sudden, you create the Aquaman universe. Universes within universe. And this is what Walter Hamada is doing. And we've spoken about this so many times. Now, if they can't film in 2021, which would mean we're pretty much in the apocalypse, joking aside, then basically all the films would have to be kind of postponed, wouldn't they? But I think, obviously, they can still develop movies right now. They can sit at home, right, and write things down and come up with ideas. That's the great thing. And because it's still in the development phase, that's including the Trench movie and Aquaman 2, nothing's stopping them from planning out both these movies. So take my advice. This is happening. They're working on it, and the Trench will be definitely released in between Aquaman 1 and Aquaman 2, and I think he's right. It's set between Aquaman 1 and Aquaman 2. That's the whole point. This is a bridge gap movie. Very exciting stuff, and I can't wait to hear more about it. So Zack Snyder has been teasing away on Vero. This is why I found Grace Randall's video hilarious. My sources. No, Grace, you always talk about your fake sources, but really you just went to Vero, right? It's like all the journalists these days, isn't it? Oh, we found out. Yes, because you went onto YouTube and you went onto Twitter. You didn't find out. You don't have sources. Stop lying. So basically, he had a picture of the 5. People were asking him questions of the 5 superhero characters from the Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's what he's calling it now, yeah. He's stamped his authority on that movie, and quite right too. So I think now the illusions have been shot away. That, in fact, and I'm not going to be thankful for saying this, but what John Aaron Garza said was right. Things needed shooting, and it was going to cost some money. I didn't think that at the time, because I believed the narrative that the film was ready. But to be fair, Zack was very, very naughty about this. He's only really starting mentioning now that he needs to do some reshoots, right? And some pickups. He never said that before, and he did give the impression, he didn't say it, but he did give an impression that this film was completed and ready to go, and just a few kind of pieces of VFX needed doing. So why did he do this? I don't think he did it to be nefarious or, dishonest. I think Zack is a very intelligent man, and he knew that people needed to talk about this movie on social media. And not just, oh, would you like a cup of tea or a scotch? Let's talk about the Snyder Cut. No, you're wrong, I'm wrong. That's the best discussion you get for your movies. It creates passion. And Zack knows this because he's intelligent. So this is why he created this kind of atmosphere of it's done. But clearly, there's things still needing to be done. Now, unfortunately, because of this epidemic, no one can do anything. So we're going to have to wait for this film. So Randolph is right there. It can't be on HBO Max unless it's in its current condition. And I don't know what condition that is. Zack's not really being forthcoming about that. So that's interesting as well. So nothing can be shown of this movie until it's ready. Zack is a perfectionist. He wants it to be ready. This is very exciting. But, he's been quiet for a while. So he's been on Vero. He had the picture of the 5 Justice Leaguers. And there was even, someone asked him a question about, someone said, what colour is it? Or whatever. He said green. So everyone's trying to work out now, what character is he talking about? Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter? And it looks like he was talking about Green Lantern. Look, we know that the actor who played Green Lantern, a British actor, has been talking months earlier, say he was in the movie, he admitted he was in the movie, he was playing the main Lantern, and Green Lantern was involved in the Snyder Cut of Justice League. So again, we can see how much Whedon just burnt down, not because Whedon wanted to, because Sugihara said, I only want a 2-hour-long movie. Ridiculous. The whole thing was ridiculous. Let's not go into it again. So Zack is going to be shooting some extra bits and pieces. I think he has come to an agreement with Warner Brothers to do this thing. So the Snyder Cut of Justice League is a massive thing. And if we are going to get this film, it's bigger than we ever imagined. Please like, share and subscribe. Please comment down below. And I will be back tomorrow, probably with a little bit shorter DCEU Daily, just so I can recover. See you again soon.